So cringe. Picking your choice of shows to play takes everything you got. With Amazon Prime, Sky and Netflix, there sure is a lot. Wouldn't you like some tips and hints? Sometimes you wanna know which are the best in shows and games, and the ones that are just lame. You need to hear some real views that are no holds barred, not tame. You just need guys called Chris, Adam and James.
Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Boss Battle podcast. It's the 3rd of March. I'm James, I'm your host. And with me today I've got Chris.
Hello.
I've got Carl.
Ooh.
Lovely. And for her first episode of the podcast, you may have heard one of the previous spoiler casts, we've got Vicky today.
Hello.
Chris, don't forget to use your mic.
And Vicky.
I am right here.
He's drifting already.
Wow.
Lots to cover this week. So we will be talking about the Nintendo Switch launch, which happened today. We'll be talking about the Oscars cock-up, which I'm sure you've seen with the Best Picture award. We'll talk about Bill Paxton, as he sadly passed away this week. We've got a couple of the news items as well to cover, and we'll be then talking about Chris's movie review this week, which is Logan, and all of our thoughts on that.
Hot off
fresh
the press.
out of the cinema, having seen that literally an hour ago.
I didn't cry.
You didn't cry?
No.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I didn't cry.
I saw you
I
cry.
did not cry.
Let's save that when we talk about the movie.
There's plenty more where that came from, folks, from Carl and Vicky. Plenty more.
If you want to listen to, we'll argue for an hour.
Don't listen to this podcast because we'd never argue.
We
So,
love each other, really.
so
Don't shush me.
Oh God.
don't forget to use your mic, Vic. So let's talk about what we've been up to in the last week before we get into our news for today. I'm going to come over to Chris while Carl and Vicky have a fight. So Chris, what have you been up to since we last recorded?
Well, for a change, I've actually started watching a TV show that's, I think, a little bit more topical and relevant, because I believe it's very recently been launched into Netflix. So it's a show called Designated Survivor. I don't know if any of you have heard of it.
Nope.
Nope.
So I'll tell you a little bit about it. So Kiefer Sutherland, of 24 fame, is the main character.
Big boss.
And essentially, yeah, big boss as well. Essentially, he is... the term designated survivor comes from when there's sort of an official ceremony in America which requires all of the sort of Senate and the president and all of the cabinet and everything to be in one building. What they do as a security background is they have one of the cabinet, and it's usually, well, in this context anyway, it's someone that's quite sort of on the outside of it, so it's not like the, think of British terms, it wouldn't be the deputy PM, but it might be like the environmental secretary, if that makes sense, something like that. And this doesn't spoil anything, or I hope not anyway. But in the first episode, so Keith Sutherland's character is this outsider who's sort of on the fringes of the government, but he's not. He's an independent candidate. He's not in the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. And effectively, bomb goes off, killing all the rest of the president and the cabinet in literally the start of episode 1. And he's thrown into this role where he has to be enrolled as the president. And it's a really interesting show because there's a side of it that's the FBI investigation into it. So there's Maggie Q of X-Men 2 fame, who played the bad guy that Wolverine had a scrap with in the...
She was in the Bond film as well.
Yes.
Yuriko, is it something like that? Is that
Possibly,
Lady
yeah.
Deathstrike?
Yes.
Yeah.
So she plays an FBI agent who's sort of on the... Basically smells conspiracy. So because it's made out to be terrorists, but there seems to be more to it. And so I've watched the first 10 episodes, and Netflix have done that real tease where they've landed 10 episodes and the rest aren't available yet. So it's almost like, and it ends on a cliffhanger, as you'd expect.
So how many episodes are we looking at?
I think there's another 10 in this season. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go into another series, but I'd recommend it. It's really interesting. It's I think people would lazily go, oh yeah, it's 24, but he's the president. But actually, if you watch it...
I was thinking exactly that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, it was the president that died, David Palmer?
No. So the nice thing about it is immediately see that Kiefer Sutherland is not getting involved in an action context at all. His character is not like that. He's effectively a nice guy who's got into politics for the sort of right reasons, and then struggles because he's then thrown into the White House and the all the actual backstabbing nature of politics, and he then struggles with sort of trying to do right with all the people after self-interest. It's really good. It's a really sort of political piece, but has that investigation of the what actually happened in terms of the bombing. So it kind of they run in parallel. So you've got him trying to adjust the White House, then you've got the FBI trying to solve it.
Is it a Netflix original series?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I don't know. I've not.
I think it only got signed off because of Kiefer Sutherland, to be honest.
I think there's a lot of Netflix originals that are coming out that I've not really heard of.
Yeah.
I watched a trailer the other day for a Will Smith Netflix original film.
Smith, wow, okay.
I can't remember what it was
really
called.
Good.
It was basically Will Smith who plays a cop with this other guy, and they've got like history and stuff. But the world it's set in like an alternate Earth, and there's orcs, elves, fairies, and all sorts. It looks quite good, but it looks really weird.
You've just blown my mind.
I know. I blew my mind.
No, I
It's
haven't.
been all over like YouTube.
Will
like,
Smith's a cop
advertisement.
in a world of fairies and orcs.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. It's a Netflix original. It actually looks alright.
Lord of Bel Air.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Thanks, Chris.
No worries.
And anything else other than obviously our movie review for later on?
No, that's it for now.
Okay.
Play the game, Chris.
No.
Okay.
I was trying to make up one on the spot. But I couldn't.
Game of
Yeah,
life.
I
Chris has been
didn't
playing
think
the game
so.
of life for the last 2 weeks.
Or the game of love.
Okay, so Carl, we're going to come round to you then. Now that you two have stopped fighting, and
We don't.
what have you been up to?
Watching a bit of telly, playing a bit of games, the usual. Although I still haven't picked up Overwatch. Played a bit of Sniper Elite 4. Just sort of getting used to that.
When did that come out? Was it last week?
Last week, yeah, or maybe the week before. I think it might be late the week before.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been playing a bit of that. Just started the first mission, getting used to the physics and stuff. Trying it on a bit of a harder difficulty and without the sort of that aid for the where the shot's got to be. If anyone's played it, you'll see there's like a name thing when you press the hold your breath button. It gives you like a little trigger where you've got to shoot them. I've tried to turn that off because of other sniper games I've played. It doesn't give you that, but it's a lot harder.
You're a sniper purist.
Yeah, in fact, that is one of the actually when you choose the difficulty level, it gives you like a expert mode for the sniper purists.
Oh, really?
I didn't choose that.
I was making it up.
I didn't choose that.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I've been playing a bit of that. We went to go and see John Wick 2 as well, which we enjoyed.
You've been playing that basketball one as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been playing NBA, but I've been playing that quite a lot.
Every week, Carl says I've been playing NBA.
Yeah, but before that, it was Overwatch.
Yeah,
so yeah,
true.
We now actually have a swear jar now, don't we, because of that game?
no,
Yes, we do.
no, we don't.
Well, you've had to put some money in the swear jar because
No, you've
someone's
put
been
some money.
slamming your control and swearing, haven't they?
Is it your Elite controller? Or is it the wrong console?
No, it's the right console.
Yeah.
Did you say flip, Carl?
I did.
Flip and poo.
I did.
Fair
That was
enough.
my Valentine's present.
What was flip
It was a
and poo?
swear jar.
Oh, okay. The swear jar. was nice. Lovely. Okay, so Sniper Elite and John Wick 2. What do you think of John Wick 2?
John Wick 2 was good.
Better or worse than the first?
I didn't like it as much as the first one
Okay.
because, without spoiling anything, it is good. It kind of went a bit OTT. If you remember the first one, there's obviously a lot of gunfighting. There's like they just dialed up to 11 on this one, and there's
Is it
lot-
like a bit like Commando? You know, in terms of like a man against an army.
sort of, yes. But yeah, it just felt like he was indestructible when he wasn't really in the first one, and it was just a little bit crazy. But there was a YouTube video which I actually meant to show you guys because I don't think you've seen it yet, unless you've seen it on the notes of his training for this. I'll probably show it you afterwards. Yeah, it's crazy. It's actually shows him firing a load of these guns off at these firing range, like real bullets and stuff, and it's just amazing. You just think Keanu Reeves at 50,
Yeah,
he's a
I was gonna say
badass.
He's about 50.
He's a
He's
badass.
50 now, but
Yeah, he is
That's
50.
interesting because I don't think he fires a gun in the. Probably doesn't fire a gun properly in the movie. If you
Oh,
look
I
at-
think he does, but they're
if you look
blanks.
if you look at the first movie, there's that scene in the nightclub where he's running around and there isn't a single bullet that goes off. That every bit of that is visually added afterwards.
Yeah.
And the blood is all added afterwards.
Yeah, well, it would be.
Well, yeah, of course it is, but that's what I'm saying. So that gun doesn't necessarily go off. It could be walking and go bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. You watch this YouTube video of him flying
it's
around
incredible.
on this firing range, and you think, "Oh my god!"
It's the guy. I'm not sure what the guy's name is. I'm going to get this wrong now. The other guy is in the not Lawrence Fishburne, but is it Cassian? Is that his name? He's
Yeah.
the guy he comes up against. He's one of the guys.
Oh,
that take him out.
yes.
I don't know much about the film, but I just watched a YouTube video of him and Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu being interviewed, and Cassim basically said that Keanu Reeves is ridiculous. Like when it comes to the fight sequences, the guy's just got it down because he's been doing it since
Oh
the
yeah,
Matrix.
yeah, and there is a lot of choreography that he did for this as well with lots of different people because you just sort of touch on that a bit as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a beast.
Well, they were just
He's an
saying
absolute
that
beast.
there was a lot of talk about the Matrix reunion with him and
Yeah,
Lawrence
yeah.
Fishburne, but then it came out that obviously in that film he trained heavily for what he had to do in that.
Oh,
He
yeah.
basically just kept doing it ever since. So he's
I think a
really
lot of the
into
Matrix
world.
work was a lot of wire work as well, though. Where I don't think there was any in this.
Well, yeah, because they've got to fly through the air and defy gravity, but there's
Well,
certain
yeah.
bits of that which is genuine combat.
But
isn't it?
it's funny because I mean Lawrence Fishburne isn't really in it that much, but they sort of meet and they talk and stuff. That there is a lot of subtle hints to the Matrix film,
Yeah.
which I thought was quite a nice nod.
Some people have said on the internet now that they think that this is their favourite Keanu character, that it's surpassed Neo.
Yeah. Well, I think he's got more character than what Neo had. Neo was sort of just more like a
So-
robot, to be fair.
True, but I mean, we're big Matrix fans. Would you say
Yeah.
it's surpassed? Are you more John Wick than you are whatever Neo's name was? Mr. Anderson.
Mr.
Was
Anderson.
it?
Yeah,
Did he
was
ever have a
Mr.
first
Anderson.
name?
Mr. Anderson, yeah, it was, I think.
Donald Anderson? It wasn't Donald.
Anders, I think it was.
I'd say it's on par. I don't think I could pick one or the other. I'd say it's on par.
Okay,
What about
interesting.
you? What do you
Because
think?
John Wick, definitely.
John Wick.
The
He's
guys
got more
who-
character.
I think it's the guys who direct. Do you know who directs John Wick? You know this stuff, don't you?
I should do.
I'm not sure if it's the directors or whether they're a heavily part of the film. I'm sure they're the directors, but they worked with him on The Matrix in a different capacity.
Okay.
Yeah,
Back in when
I
there
think
was
probably the
Wachowskis.
choreographers did.
Yeah, but the guys who, I'm sure there's two guys that directed it. Maybe get Chris to have a little Google while we're talking. But I'm sure that the interview that I watched today was these two guys talking about it, and I'm sure they were the guys who were choreographing it. I watched it on. I don't know if you've seen it. On his trailers. You'll have on his
Yeah,
trailers.
yeah.
The Screen Junkies that they're a part of the network of. They do with certain films now. They're doing rewatching the honest trailers with the guys who made it
Yeah.
and the guys who made the film.
Because they did that with the
And
Captain
then
America one,
debating
didn't
it.
they?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's what I watched today was the John Wick
They're
guys.
down on IMDb for doing stunts on The Matrix and
Yeah.
300
But they're
and
the
a few
directors
other
as
big
well, aren't they? Yeah.
films.
So, but they're the directors of this one, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think the
so-
actual
So they've gone
main
from
director.
stunts to directing, yeah.
Yeah.
So they worked with him on The Matrix. That's,
Yeah.
that's where the relationship came from. Cool, interesting. Okay, so John Wick was a good one. Vic, what about you? What have you been doing since the last recorded? Because you weren't on the last one. But what have you been doing the last few weeks?
Mainly, I've been waiting around for the DLC for the new Call of Duty to come out. The new pack was released for PlayStation, but it wasn't released for the Xbox. So I've been waiting for that. So Carl got me to play Titanfall 2,
What
which
do you think?
I've really enjoyed. It's been like playing Halo.
Have you finished it?
She's not far off.
I'm not far off now.
Wicked.
It
isn't
is. It is really good.
Such an underrated game.
The only thing I would say I dislike about it is the whole running around, jumping on walls, because that's not my type of gameplay. Originally, I'm more of a running to a battlefield and shooting as many people as I can.
And screaming
But I
at
was going to
kids.
say that's
Yeah.
become part of COD in the last few generations, hasn't it? The last
Yeah.
couple of cycles have brought that in. I mean, I didn't really like that in COD, but because it felt like Titanfall. But
Yeah,
obviously
I think it
used
works so much better in
first time.
it does
Titanfall,
work a
doesn't
lot
it?
better because obviously that's what it's supposed to be. Where it doesn't feel as natural when it's COD. It doesn't feel like this is what we should be doing.
It's interesting you said it felt like Halo though, because the people who make it are the people who made the good CODs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, back in the day.
The ones that didn't have the jumping
Yeah,
about.
it's Infinity Ward, isn't it? It's the guys from the original Infinity Ward who did, I think, is it the Modern Warfare series, the
Yeah.
first couple.
Yeah.
It's them. When they got booted out, unceremoniously, they started Respawn. It was the studio, wasn't it?
Is Titanfall
Yeah,
meant to be
Respawn.
set in sort of present day, or is it
No.
different?
No.
Futuristic romance.
Oh,
Shush,
I know, 'cause I was
Chris.
just
I'm
thinking
gonna say,
because
do
the
we have
walls,
robots
they're not
now?
going to be far off with the wall with Donald Trump and everything, are they? So
Think of Hulkbuster.
No.
Think of the Hulkbuster, and you're kind of there.
Oh, okay.
Sort of
It's giant mechs and
Oh,
all
right.
that sort of stuff.
spaceships and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
Slightly off.
So you've nearly finished it. Have you done, without spoiling it for those who haven't played it, although by now you really should have you done the level?
Yeah, she has.
Yeah, I have.
How cool is that?
Pretty cool.
If you've played it, you'll know what we're talking about. If you haven't, then go and play it. But yeah, it's really good, isn't it?
No, it is like, I didn't think I would enjoy it, as Carl's bugged me for a while since it's come out to play it, so I never thought I would enjoy it. But I definitely think it's a game I can get into, especially online as well.
I was going to ask you, you're going to give the multiplayer a go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I completed the story. It took me a little while because my gaming time is always limited. But I played multiplayer with 1, maybe 2 evenings.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it, which I haven't gone back.
Yeah. It's
not
just
because
there's
it's
so
not good,
many
it's just
games at the moment.
There's too much to play. Yeah,
It is ridiculous.
But you don't not to play as many different games. You quite focus on the kind of game types that you like. So you probably got more time to give to that. Whereas we tend to hop around between all different genres.
Yeah. Because how far prestige are you on Call of Duty now?
4, 5.
5. Yeah.
Wow, Jesus.
Yeah. I only ever managed 1 on Modern Warfare 2.
I think I was saying once on Modern Warfare 2. Yeah.
But it's pointless, to be honest, because I use this. The prestige means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Because I use the same guns. That's it, and I've unlocked them permanently. So the prestige means nothing anymore. I still do it. I don't know why.
Well, it's because you're just playing over and over.
Exactly, but I use the same guns. They're always permanently unlocked now. So all I do now is just wait for new maps.
So with the stuff that you start, you've been playing it yet? They're not out yet, are they? The ones on the Xbox. What's the time gap between the PS4 and the Xbox?
A month.
A
month.
Okay. Have you been sort of eyeballing what they look like, or are you just going to wait till they drop?
I've seen a few videos. I'm very much looking forward to doing the new zombie mode, because that's not really had as much praise as it should really get, because the old zombie modes are quite limited. It doesn't expand as much, where it literally expands. There's so many places you can go, and there's so many different things that you can get. It feels like limitless. So I'm looking forward to seeing it on a different map.
I really struggled with zombie mode. I think which was the one I first properly played.
I think it was one in the bunker where you were a president. That's the one I remember.
When you played it.
I think that was the first Black Ops, maybe.
So difficult. Yeah, I think in Black Ops, because I just found the zombies. Like, to me, zombies, I always think Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I like slow, kind of meandering. They get older, they have a nibble, you throw them off, you shoot them in the face, and everything's good. In fucking Call of Duty, they just come at you like 10 to the dozen. They're everywhere, and they run like bloody sprinters. They're all Usain Bolt, and you just can't keep them at bay. I'm dead within about 3 or 4 rounds.
Well, these ones have all sorts of different zombies now. They have clowns that explode on you and whatnot.
Yeah, they disappear and appear randomly.
Have they borrowed heavily from Left 4 Dead? Because that had a lot of variety in terms of zombie types, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And that was that kind of fast-paced, crazy zombie sort of swamping thing.
Well, the new one's called Raven the Redwoods, so that'll probably bring all sorts of different new zombies to it. So we'll have to wait and see what you play there.
A stupid statement, but that's presumably in the woods or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. It's all set in the 80s.
That could be quite cool. I like the idea of sort of running through the trees and all these zombies. Rather than being confined to a building and having to put boards on a wall to keep a zombie out, and then it comes through and you do it all over again.
I think there is still aspects of that, but it's to begin with.
Obviously, you start off in a smaller space, and obviously it builds up. You can unlock different parts, but it is so big now. Like I don't believe that I've explored every single part of the first like amusement part. I've not gone to every single little bit of it. And there's so many, I think it was the first time the other day that I went into like the amusement arcade where you've got like the bumper cars and there's a button you can press which can hypnotise like the zombies with like the music and the lights. And I thought, oh my God, that's so cool. I'll stay in here and listen to music. But they also brought in the aspect if you got killed, you can come back in 2 ways. You can either, you go to like heaven, which is another arcade where you play games in this arcade, and if you get like a high score in a game, you can come back.
It's like a mini game within a game.
Yeah,
that's quite cool. Well, it's a mini game within a mini game within a game.
But and they're proper old arcade games as well.
It's quite fun.
Yeah. And even to a certain aspect where you can pick up a basketball. You know, like the ones where you used to be able to get tickets to put prizes. Yeah. You could just literally stand there and throw a basketball and get a high score, and you get. I think it's like soul power. I think you get back. Because I've watched her play it a couple of times when she's not looking. Because she doesn't like me watching her play.
I don't like you watching now.
And there's like Gallagher and like a Gallagher type game. There's
they're presumably not like official old real games, are they?
Not official, but as
not
official as you can
like
probably
copies.
See. Yeah.
You know which
Space Invaders is the other one.
Yeah, you know
well.
what they're based on.
Like a Ms. Pac-Man rip-off style thing.
Yeah, I think there is actually.
Yes.
Not surprising. Which was the Call of Duty that had? In fact, was it Call of Duty where they introduced? Was it Jason? Or was it Jason?
Jason.
No, Halloween. It's Halloween, isn't it?
Jason X.
Jason. Yeah.
He wasn't the one that had him in it, and there was like an Alien versus Predator. There was a Predator.
That's Mortal Kombat.
No, that was the fight. Yeah, there was. I'm sure there was a Call of Duty map, a couple of games ago that had the Predator in it.
I don't remember one.
I don't remember one.
Have a look. I'm sure there was a DLC for a Call of Duty game which gave you this special level where it was Predator, and there was also a Jason one. I'm sure there was. I'm certain it was Call of Duty. There's definitely a first-person shooter that's done that. Maybe it wasn't COD. While Carl's looking that up, anything else you've been up to, Vic?
I've actually been watching The Office, not the UK version, which used to be my favourite, but the American version, which I know, it's going to be
fall out with you now,
controversial.
Vicky.
I know, I didn't think I would say this, but it is so much better than the UK one. It ran for nearly 10 years.
Exactly.
It's incredible.
It was quantity over quality. I like the American Office, by the way, but it's not a patch on the British. I don't think.
Can I tell you why I like it more?
Yeah.
Because what I found, especially after watching The Life of David Brent or whatever.
Yeah,
it was
but
called.
I don't count that. But
well, you got to
still
count it because it
counts.
still
No,
counts
it
as The
still
Office.
counts.
It doesn't because
But-
Stephen Merchant didn't co-write it, so it's not.
Let me
Gervais's
finish.
ego trip, but go on.
In the English Office, you've got a couple of seasons, and although it is good, it is funny. You with the main character David Brent, you kind of feel it's funny to a certain extent, but it's cringy. A lot of it's cringy.
That's
You're
British
cringing along.
humour,
with
though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is,
That's subtle,
and it
yeah.
is. But the American Office is completely. It's not as cringy.
It's
actually
more believable
it's
that
more
these
comedy.
people exist.
Yeah, it's
Like,
more
there's people
comedy.
like that.
It's
out
just
there.
a traditional sitcom, whereas The Office reinvented its whole genre. I think the British one. That's
You
my
can
thing.
definitely see the English Office in the American Office.
Mm.
I mean, it is still co-wrote by Stephen Merchant as well.
They
They produce it. They produce
Yeah,
it.
I haven't watched much of the American one. I've only watched a few episodes, but it feels like something which is very obviously saying to you, "I'm a comedy." Whereas I think if you didn't know what The Office was and you tuned in, you could be mistaken for thinking that was some bad reality TV. Until you clock it. I think the American Office is very obvious from the start that it's set up. It's not. It doesn't feel as realistic or I just walked into a genuine office.
No.
I think it still feels a little bit more set up.
Yeah, that might be as well because obviously
I
Steve
agree
Carell
with
was quite big back then anyway.
Yeah.
So I think when the original Office was done, it was a case of nobody really knew who half these people were.
Yeah.
And I think if
Most
the
of the
other
stars,
yeah,
didn't it?
I was going to say
to be
most
fair.
of them, to be fair. I don't think even...
No, none of them were stars.
Oh, bloody hell, his name's gone again, the Hobbit.
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman was unknown, yeah.
Even he was unknown at that
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
wasn't he? So, yeah. But I think that helps in its believability because you tune in and go, "Who are these people?" And then
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
You quickly work out that it's made up, but I think it was shot in a way that made it look more genuine, whereas I think the American one's got that high gloss, like you said, like a sitcom look, whereas the UK Office could quite easily have been someone just walking around an office with a camera. They didn't look like the set had been dressed. Obviously, it would have been done like that, but maybe it's more relatable as well because we're used to working in UK offices, whereas we don't work in American office buildings.
I do
Maybe
like the
that's how
American
American
Office,
office
by the
buildings
way. I do like it.
But
But
I like the fact there
it's
was
not as good
like
as- I don't think.
the cameos that were in it. There was Will Ferrell, there was Jim Carrey in it, and there's is it Catherine Tate.
Yes.
I don't like her, but she's in it for a few episodes. But they're like it's Jim Carrey's like cameo is so small, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
You don't see it coming. It's so random, and you can tell it's so improvised. With us, there's some parts of the office like American one where you can tell it's staged, but there's other parts where you can tell, especially like with like the main character, a lot of it is just improvised. You can tell.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's quite funny because I mean I haven't really sat down and watched most of it. I'm kind of watching a lot of it over Vicky's shoulder as she's watching it. But I think it's the latest season. I can't remember. I think it might be season 8 that you're on.
Mm-hmm.
It's got James Spader in it. I think it's James Spader. I think that's his name.
Ultron.
Yes.
Yeah.
It took us ages to figure that out.
I was watching, and I'm thinking that voice sounds really familiar. And it got to a point where I've got to look this up, and it was. Oh my God, it's Ultron. Now, every time I see him walking around the office, I'm just picturing Ultron. It's weird because it sounds exactly like him.
He made his name in the Blacklist. Is it Blacklist?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he made his name in. That's because he's the guy who basically at the very beginning of that just goes and hands himself over to the cops, doesn't it? And then the story develops from there.
Yeah. But it's
quite
weird
impressive.
just hearing his voice talking, and I'm thinking, you're Ultron? What are you walking around the office for? It's quite funny.
Cool. Did you manage to find out?
I
whether
did.
was right?
It was probably the Call of Duty that no one played. I think even you didn't play it. Call of Duty Ghosts, and it was
No, I
Michael
didn't play
Myers
that.
Halloween.
Yeah, and there was definitely
there was a
one.
Predator one as well.
Oh, damn.
How to play as Predator in
The one Call
Devastation.
of Duty I never played.
I only remember that because I remember looking at the Predator one thinking, that makes me want to play it, but I wasn't going to spend the money to get into that because you have to buy the game and then the DLC.
You have to actually find the character as well, by the looks of it. I mean,
Yeah,
this is going back to 2014.
I can't remember how it worked now. I think one person got to be the Predator or something. I don't know how it worked, but anyway, cool. Couple of things that I got up to in the last couple of weeks. Then, so I managed to do a Netflix series as well.
Wow, bravo.
I don't thank you.
A
How
series?
have you
A
found
whole
the time?
series?
To be fair, it was I think only maybe 8 episodes.
Oh, so
Might
it
be
wasn't a
10.
Chris 5-part special then?
No. It's called.
What?
It's actually a documentary. It's called Abstract: The Art of Design.
Right.
And it was I think 8 or 10. I can't remember now. Different episodes about completely different markets or completely different communities or I guess areas of design. So there was like the guy from Nike, Tinker Hatfield, who designed all the Air Jordans. There was a guy from, I think it was Chrysler, who designs the cars at Chrysler. There was people from different industries talking about designs, and there was like a small journey they were on in that particular episode. But it was all cleverly shot and sort of edited in certain ways, depending on what that person's design philosophies were. And it was really interesting. There was a couple of episodes that I did find a little bit tedious, and I'll just be honest, I got about 20 minutes into one of them and didn't even bother finishing that. I was like, no, this just doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the subject was now, but I skipped it. But the trainer one, genuinely, if you watch nothing else, just out of blind curiosity, go and watch this guy called Tinker Hatfield. He lives an amazing life. He's like, I don't know how old, he's probably in his 50s or something, he might be older than that. And he lives by the sea, he's got this stunning house and everything, because he's made fucking millions. But he's responsible for almost the entire line of Air Jordan trainers.
Wow.
He's also designed the Back to the Future shoes, so you might appreciate watching just for that.
Yeah, definitely.
And then he was involved in creating the ones that then got sold. Recently, that actually made the laced up properly and did it all. It's called the technology is called EARL. I can't remember what it stands for. It's an acronym.
Yeah.
But you can actually buy those trainers now. And I thought, Gadget Geek, I'm gonna have a look. How much are those? Not a good barrier.
No, I think
It's about $700 for a pair of shoes. I think. It is,
they gave some
Wow.
to.
not the
what's
Back to
the
the Future. The Back to the Future shoes
okay.
are thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
And they were done on a ballot, and they are ridiculous expensive if you want to try and find those. These are just generic trainers that have that tech in them. They don't even self-lace like the ones in Back to the Future. It's quite interesting. They kind of base it on your movement. So when your foot does certain movements, they stay tighter and they relax when you relax. So they're based on the energy that you're expending to use the shoes, basically, how tight they are.
So when you're going to kick Carl, Vicky, it'll tighten up to give you
just in
extra
time,
power.
yeah, just for the roundhouse.
I
So
might have to get myself a pair.
that was my Netflix series. I went to see Jack Whitehall live at the Barclays
You did?
Arena.
How was that? I was a bit jealous, to be honest.
I think I was as well, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Really, well. It was a double bonus because we got there and the warm-up act was Joe Lycett. Have you heard of Joe Lycett?
No.
You need to look him up. He's really funny. He's from the Midlands. He's from Hall Green, so he's from down the road from where we all are, and he was hilarious, absolutely brilliant. Obviously, it was 20 minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Jack Whitehall, I have to say, really, really impressed. I like him anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't have gone otherwise. But he was just. I thought he was hilarious. He just from start to finish. I was quite surprised by the amount of physical comedy. I expected him to be sort of stand up, sarky, kind of taking the piss a bit, like he does on the shows you tend to see him on. But actually, there was a lot of physical comedy. It was really interesting.
It's funny you say that because I neglected to mention earlier, I've started watching, and I'm really slow to this, but Bad Education on
Oh,
Netflix.
it's so
Yeah,
good,
and
And
isn't
he's
it?
such a brilliant
So
physical comedy actor because
Yeah.
he's a bumbling teacher who's trying to be cool, but actually he's just clumsy with everything in life.
Right.
And you see that characteristic of
Well,
him. He's very versatile.
I didn't know his backstory or much of his backstory until I went to see the show, and it turns out that he actually grew up alongside what's his bloody name, Twilight Boy.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert
Pattinson,
Did
yeah.
you do the joke where he steals his part from the school show?
No, he talked about the fact that he didn't get that he got cast in some rubbish role in.
It was like a tree or something.
Yeah. And Rob Pattinson always got the glory of roles.
He was a trip.
And basically, he just talks about the fact that he's been his rival throughout his life because he then was up against him in like movie casting for Harry Potter and he didn't get a role, and
Yeah.
Rob Pattinson did. And then he went to the States and he was trying to break the States, and that went horribly wrong for him. But he got a call from this kind of cocky agent trying to get him the role, and he said, "You're going to star alongside Robert Pattinson." So he tells his whole story. He does it much better than I'll do. But he builds it all up, and when he finally turns up to find out what the role is, it's basically auditioning to play the role of a special needs person, who's the brother of Robert Pattinson, who's going to be the hero. So like it all just went a bit wrong. He didn't get the role anyway, and it's one of them. You know, it was really funny to listen to. He was really really good.
Bet, yeah, I can imagine.
And I have to say, if he comes around again, I definitely wouldn't say no to going and seeing him again. Really good live. And,
awesome.
Had very, very funny. And then the last thing I've been up to, which is a big one for us, and we were actually streaming it on Twitch this week, was Horizon Zero Dawn. So amongst all the other great stuff coming out in the gaming world in the next few weeks, or even just this week, I picked up Horizon Zero Dawn, the collector's edition, which I've done an unboxing of. So if you want to see what that looks like, it's on YouTube.
It's a gorgeous little piece, which I'm looking forward to having a look at tomorrow.
It's an amazing
Vicky,
figure, really.
he's on about a game, don't worry.
She's not real, Vicky. And then
Is she not?
No.
She doesn't look real in the game, though.
No,
Really,
she
they need more emotions in that game.
Ugly as fuck in the game.
Oh, thanks.
Not you.
What
The
was
character
going
in
on?
Horizon Zero Dawn. So yeah, anyway, I played that game. I mean, Carl will support me when I say this. Most games fail to keep my attention past the first few hours. I've probably done 8 hours now on this, which is barely scratching the surface. But loving it and can't wait to go back. If anything, the fact that I can't play in the next couple of evenings is a frustration, which is the first time I've had that problem with the game for a long time. Normally, I'm a couple of hours in, I'm thinking, what could I be doing instead? And this world's got me engrossed. I think you'd appreciate it, Chris, purely not from the game. I'm not saying you'd like the game.
Like a story point of view.
You'd absolutely hate the game because it requires far too much
Thinking and skill,
and ability, and
hand-eye coordination,
handling controls. But the story is really interesting.
Is it?
Isn't it?
It does, yeah.
So it's based 1,000 years in the future. It doesn't really tell you what's happened, other than the fact that man no longer rules the earth.
Yeah.
And you're kind of thrown into what feels like almost like not prehistoric. That's probably too far back, but sort of pre-technology to era, pre-industrial revolution, all that sort of stuff. You're back in an era where it's cavemen kind of style stuff. It's log cabins, it's spears,
bows and
arrows. Because everyone's got this big fear of technology because of whatever technology has done to them. Technology's taken over. Cybernet. Technology's taken over. All of the sort of old human cities have been reclaimed by the earth. Everything's very lush and sort of pre-humanity, really.
Yeah.
But there's remnants of it. So there's certain areas where you go to where there used to be these huge towers. And
like a football stadium.
Football stadium, just buckled steel, and it's all been overgrown and like this wildlife.
That's what the Green Party are going for, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what
they're looking for. They're aware of this. So it's just really interesting. It doesn't tell you what's going on. You don't know. You know what the new world has to be frightened of, which is these robot dinosaurs, which are roaming the earth, which is kind of crazy, but they're really cool. But also there's this sort of tribal mentality, and there's other rival tribes to watch out for. But all the time you're piecing together what the hell happened. It's
sort of a mystery. Okay.
Yeah. So and it's really interesting, isn't it? I mean, you've watched bits of it on.
Yeah, I've watched
Twitch,
quite
and
a
you've
lot.
watched some of me playing it as well, and story. I think it's the story that's got me hooked. Really, that's what makes me want to go back and carry on playing. However, I'm enjoying the game. I don't want to rush through it, so I shall make my way through it and keep everyone updated.
Kind of reminded me of the Maze Runner films in a way.
I tried watching one of those and only got about 10 minutes. I need to try and give it another go. I found it really slow and didn't quite get it.
They're okay.
Yeah, I watched the first one. I haven't watched the second one yet. I do want to watch the second one because the end of the first is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But they're a little bit teeny movies, aren't they? It's a lot of sort of
it's got that feel.
Kids and it's not. I don't really feel like it's aimed at our generation.
No.
It's like
it's an interesting twist on
Twilight Star generation again. It's people like Vicky.
I didn't want to say, but that's exactly what I was thinking.
Shut up.
Bloody youngsters. So cool. So that's our quick round table. Not so quick. Our usual sort of 30 minutes diving into that. So let's get into some of the news then. A few things to think about this week, and we're going to go to Chris fairly early on in this first article because I want to see his interpretation of this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't know this and you're into gaming, then where have you been and how do you not know this?
Yeah,
But
we should
Nintendo
have slept for the last month.
Yeah, Nintendo Switch launched today with one game and a handful of games no one cares about. One game that everyone cares about, and it's been reviewed very, very well by all accounts. And
very well.
That's Zelda. And I want to, Chris, I've written down the acronym here of the title. I'd like to see what you think BOTW stands for.
I think Vicky can actually get on board with this as well because I don't think she knows what it is.
Well, before
Vicky goes in.
What are you starting on me for?
I'm not. I'm asking you a question.
Go on then,
we need
Chris.
a referee,
What do you think?
don't we?
What do you think BOTW stands for?
Before I say, can I just say I haven't Googled the answer?
It's because you only just knew about it.
Yeah. It's obvious. Back of the wand.
Back of the wand. Zelda back of the wand.
Back of the wand.
Yeah, okay.
I like that.
It's obvious, isn't it?
I'm going to agree with him because I
got
just
to
like
be.
that.
It's Zelda, not Harry Potter.
But I like that. I'm
Expelliarmus.
agree with you.
Stupefy.
It's too late. It's already done.
Would you like to hazard another guess?
No, go on, Vicky.
No,
You have
okay.
a guess.
I'm just going to agree with you
Back
because
of the
I
wand.
like that.
Back of the wand.
I like that
Back of the
idea.
wand.
Put him out of misery, Carl.
Go on then. Breath of the Wild.
What?
Obviously.
Your
It's a
idea is
rubbish
so
name,
much better.
isn't it?
You need to go and tell them
So
this.
you could have a Harry Potter crossover.
Exactly.
Think of the fanboys.
With Zelda. Okay, yeah.
So I should point out none of us have played the Switch, but I don't know if you've been keeping up with some of the early news. The game, Zelda's reviewed really well.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic.
Mm.
The hardware, not
Not so
doing so
much.
well. So there seems to be a major bugbear. I think it's the left Joy-Con controller. So there's for Chris's benefit, who knows all about gaming, there are this device is effectively it's like a large phone.
And I've seen the.
With two
We played
clip-on-
the video a few podcasts
Yeah, we showed
ago
the
at
video.
Christmas, didn't we?
Yeah,
So
so
I've-
it's
I'm
the
roughly
two clip-on
know,
sides. So the left-hand clip-on Joy-Con
Yeah.
seems to be having connection issues. They're both Bluetooth,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it seems to be there's a lot of people reporting that it seems to be disconnecting or dropping connection to the device, which is quite difficult because it's the one that controls your movement in most games.
Right.
Yep.
Which means that if you're playing Zelda and you're in the middle of a boss fight, your character could well just stop moving, and it takes a few seconds for that device to pick back up again.
I just
No.
like to
But
see
which-
Carl
which
play
case you did?
experience
Oh
that
my God,
problem
that would
mid-battle.
be
He would
amazing.
throw that switch
So much
across
money
the
in the
room.
swear jar.
They come with wrist
Straps to
things
stop
like the
Carl.
Wii's
Well,
did.
only-
Not that you probably know
not
that
if
either.
you're playing it in handheld.
Well, no, but
Only
you
if the
know
Joy-Cons are
that's
separate.
only no different than playing the Xbox in handheld, really.
But there's no leash on that.
No, exactly. So, you know.
So yeah, but if you throw the Nintendo Switch across the room,
I'm not going to throw
you-
anything.
You're throwing
Really?
Actually,
Really?
technically, Carl, that's a bit like picking your Xbox up and throwing that and the controller across the room. If you throw the Switch across the room,
Oh, I thought you meant just like the
no, like
Pro
it's
Pad.
going all over. In fact,
Oh yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
Tell a lie. Actually, I think when it's docked on the unit, that's where they're not having a problem with it because it's directly connected to the hardware.
Oh,
It
okay.
doesn't use Bluetooth. It's when they've been using it.
It's
The
the
handheld.
handheld bit, which is
Yeah.
the bit they seem to really labour in the advert, didn't they? as
Well,
the-
I mean,
you know.
they're trying to labour it's the fact that it can do all these things. So,
Yeah.
So I think, and then there's a few points I think about frame rate problems. I think in one of the reviews I listened to on Zelda, so they've seen some frame rate.
Yeah, some frame rate
significant
drops.
Frame rate trips.
Yeah.
Drops. Sorry, when it's docked, trips. When it's docked, but not so much when it's handheld again. So
Yeah, because
it
it's
seems to be
condensed a bit.
performing
isn't it?
very well in handheld, but not so well when it's docked, which is the kind of it that it differentiates it. Size-wise, interesting. I did see a video review of someone holding it next to a DSXL, the big
Yeah.
ones, almost the same size minus the Joy-Cons.
Really?
Yeah, so quite interesting. It really is quite compact. So that came out this week. Chris, I'm going to come to you on this one. Can you tell us a bit about the Oscars cock-up?
I can tell you a little bit. It reached me because the Oscars over like late night, isn't it? This UK time. So I sort of Monday morning sort of read up on the Oscars, just intrigued to see what won. And then that was the headline, wasn't it? That ran away with itself, and then became this big news story going into like Tuesday morning in the UK, and then it was the accountants were blamed, weren't they?
The two accountants responsible have been taken.
They'll
Oh,
never
they
have
had death threats and stuff, haven't they?
Oscar.
Yeah.
They've had extra security, but the PwC.
That is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. But PwC, the accountants firm, are now not going to be used next year by the Oscars.
Mhm.
So they've lost that gig completely. I don't know what it's worth to them, but I imagine that's not good publicity.
No.
Nothing else.
No,
It
was
I'd
actually,
like to see the share price. What it did to the PwC share price this week? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. The Oscars were actually streamed, I think maybe for the first time, but they were actually on Twitch, the Oscars were.
On Twitch.
Yeah, yeah.
A random place.
There's
to put the Oscars.
Twitch has got a new sort of subfolder which is called IRL, which is in real life, and I think they put it on there.
Okay.
I'll be honest, as a film fan, I've always seen the Oscars as a bit of irrelevance because it's more political than anything from what I can see. It doesn't represent what most film goers like. It's all
Well, I was
what's
going to say the simple fact that there wasn't a single sort of mainstream movie.
No.
There was no Marvel stuff in there.
No.
And
Well, never
none
is,
of
is
that got
there?
in No. But well, it's the detail behind it. In terms of what happened, basically, I think was it Warren Beatty was reading out the
yes,
the
he
results?
was.
And if you watch the video back and someone's done this, there's quite a clear moment where the guy looks at the card he's given and he's like, "This doesn't look right." And you see him fish back in the envelope as if there's something else might be in there, and there's not. And he has another look before he announces the winner. Then he goes back in again, and then he hands it off to the woman who's with him. I think it was
Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway. He hands it off to Faye Dunaway as if to say, "Oh, this isn't fucking right. I'm not doing this." Gives it to her. She goes, "La La Land," and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
The card she'd been given was Best Actress because it said Emma Stone,
Yeah.
La La Land. So
Yeah.
she just read that out. Obviously, La La Land, the cast, everyone got up and gone, yay, amazing, come up and collected their award. And then the accountants have gone, what the fuck? No, that's not right. And then someone's come out, given it to one, I think it was one of the members of the La La Land crew.
Okay.
He looks pissed. And he comes to the mic and he goes, it's all a mistake, they've cocked it all up, this is the winner, holds the card up, makes the camera zoom on it, and it was Moonlight. And then obviously the Moonlight guys come up and took the award.
Do you know what the irony of it all is? Do you know what Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway are famous for being in together? Bonnie and Clyde. It's the famous sort of crime film and stuff.
Oh, right,
and obviously that, I'm not saying it was their fault, it wasn't, but it's an irony that they're known most famous for that.
It's quite funny because I think Warren Beatty then came back to the mic to explain what had gone on. But it wasn't like, some sort of, I don't want to read out the real winner or I made it up or whatever. He came out and went, this is the card I was given. I didn't think it looked right. And you can tell when you watch it back, there's this moment of confusion in the guy's face where he's like, that's not right, that card's not right, that's not the right winner's card. He goes back in, can't do it.
Yeah.
He's looking around as if to say, I need some support here. And then just this way hands it off to Faye Dunaway. Goes, you do it, go on. And then sort of walks off, pulling this kind of shit face, we're in trouble here sort of thing. But it has overshadowed it a bit, hasn't it? I mean, one of the things I did notice that there was a lot of, because last year we had all the race storm, didn't we? The Oscars are racist, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's probably why Moonlight...
They've addressed it, haven't
that
they?
didn't help it, but this year there was a lot of... Moonlight, I think a lot of the winners from that were sort of African-Americans, and they've addressed that. I mean, there's part of me, anyway, that kind of feels like, not that these people weren't justified in their victories, but is this a reaction to the fact that we've got to prove we're not racist, therefore suddenly there's loads of winners, mixed race and stuff? It probably isn't that, but you can't help but feel that when the last year...
That's the politics of it all, though, isn't it?
That's what also annoys me about Oscars and most award shows, and most of the time it is, if you don't watch it, what you hear in the news first is, if there's something controversial what's happened, that's usually the first article.
Yeah.
Then it's usually what someone's wore, or who's with who, and then you have to dig to find out who's won what.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I find so annoying. There's no focus now on actually, who actually wins stuff. It's all load of rubbish.
Even Emma Stone's victory, which was great, and she gave a lovely speech if you've watched it. Even that was sort of twisted on, and in a nice way, but it was there was a focus on Andrew Garfield because he was there. And people kept pulling out the fact that he just looked at her in a really loving way, and he looked really proud, and he was clapping, he was like on his feet giving her standing ovation and stuff, and it was really sweet. But even that was like, even her victory there was sort of twisted back to her relationship with somebody else, and it's like,
it's the world we live in, isn't it? It's wrong.
I mean, that was Twitter, to be honest. I think it was people spotted his face and there was pictures of him on Twitter.
But all the the Daily Mail and all that sort of rags, they just love all that. They focus more, like Vicky says, on the human relationships and they broke up, but look at them and all that sort of twist in it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, sticking to the theme of actors and actresses, we lost one this week. So Bill Paxton, and we'll go through what we sort of remember him from being. But he died this week at the age of 61. With complications during surgery, which is pretty tragic, really. So it wasn't even he was particularly sick or anything.
No.
He was having some surgery, which wasn't. I couldn't find information to what that surgery was, so I'm assuming they haven't released it, or they hadn't at the time I wrote this down. But yeah, the poor guy died through surgery. He left a family, I think 2 kids and a wife. But yeah, I mean, in terms of movie memories, I think one of the things I read, and we were discussing this before we started recording, is that he's one of only 2 people, I think, to have killed a predator and been killed by a predator, an alien, and a Terminator. Which is pretty
awesome,
cool,
isn't it?
My personal memory, and again, we did discuss this before we started, but I want to come around to you guys as well, was True Lies for me.
I'd agree with that.
So, in True Lies, he obviously plays the sort of the mirror of Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. He's the line. Oh, thanks, Carl.
Right.
Seamless. What the fuck was that?
You're so special.
Stop it.
Close the browser. Close the browser.
You're listening to a tribute to Bill Paxton. Thanks, Carl.
Bloody
Thanks for crushing the memoriam there.
You should leave the room now, Carl.
Let's maybe move on then, as Carl's grabbed the limelight and come on to one of your topics.
that was the article I was looking at.
These are yours too, then. So come on then. You've got ahead of yourself. Let's talk about it. Go.
So Twitch are doing another promotion thing now, where if you're a streamer, if you like the game that they're playing, you can. There's like a buy now button. So obviously Twitch has been bought by Amazon probably about a year ago now, and it actually supports the streamer that you click on the buy now for, which I thought was quite interesting. Another way for them to get revenue. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so that,
they get-
That's
well,
more important than
seamless,
someone
Chris.
dying. Really.
Pardon?
We were talking about, a really good film star.
Microphone, Vic.
It wasn't
Yeah,
my
yeah.
fault.
It was your fault.
I was
You
just
clicked
reading
it.
through it.
You clicked it.
I was just
You
I was
clicked it.
swiping. It's Safari. It's touchscreen. Shut up.
You shut up.
So on to our last news topic then before we get on to Chris's movie review. We need to drag this out because Chris has just left the room for a toilet break. So let's just shove that in there because he so subtly dragged his chair across the floor when he left. So Guardians 2, we got another new trailer which I'm super excited about.
I can't wait.
for
I am
this
so
film.
excited.
Well, for my birthday, which was last week, for those who care, no one emailed me. No one listeners emailed me. So I
They might have not known.
That's what they didn't know. Would have known. So Laura, my other half, got me. Is going to Olivia actually. My daughter is sending me and Laura, which I think is paid for by Laura because Olivia doesn't have any money. She's 18 months old. They're sending me to the Everyman Cinema in Birmingham, which is at the Mailbox for you guys.
Yes.
Now, it's quite a special cinema because you get couches and you can order food and drink to be delivered to your seat at any time during the movie.
Yeah, you can have a glass of wine for £8.
And we're thinking of going there. And Laura said I can take her to any film that I want, and I thought, oh, I quite fancy Kong Skull Island, and I thought, nah, that's not fair. She won't enjoy that, but she will enjoy Guardians, so I think I'm going to go for Guardians. But yeah, that new trailer. So we've seen our first glimpse of Star-Lord's
Daddy.
father. I'm going to say
I'm
a grown man, and it's his name's escaped me now. Kurt Russell
Yes, Kurt Russell.
with a beard. The weird thing is, I don't know if you know much about his character.
Well, I've seen a few articles and saying what he is and this, that, and the other, and I've seen one bit, and I don't want to know anymore because I want the film to tell me their adaptation.
I don't know much about his background. I don't know. I'm not spoiling anything for that in that way. But it's weird because obviously you see this bearded Kurt Russell, but that's his physical
the human form.
manifestation of himself.
Yeah. That's the only bit
He is a
I've
planet.
seen. Yeah, he's a planet.
So his dad's a planet.
How cool is that?
Imagine his poor mother.
I know,
getting rammed
No
by a
wonder,
planet.
no wonder she died at the beginning of the first film. Spoilers.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't seen that by now, you should.
Well,
the
yeah,
second
exactly.
one. So yeah, the new Guardians 2 trailer. Chris, what do you think?
I haven't actually seen it. And
What is wrong with you?
It doesn't really show much other than
No.
much difference other than showing Star-Lord's daddy.
Completely missed the this new trailer release.
It's the kind of Luke, I am your father moment, isn't it?
It was weird, really, because I was on YouTube and it had a trailer. And I thought, oh, new Guardians trailer. And it was just a trailer for the trailer the next day. I was like, what? Just have the trailer?
Yeah, there's been a few of those, hasn't there, recently? Teaser trailers for a trailer. It's like, what the fuck?
But this was like a day later. I was like, we'll just show the trailer.
Right, well, that brings us neatly on to our feature of the
Seamlessly.
week. So let's hit the intro while Chris prepares himself. I've got to find it now.
Chris has been to the cinema and seen at least one movie. But what was it? And what did he think of it? This is Chris's movie review.
Probably shouldn't come as much of a surprise to what this is. We
Not
kind of mentioned that
really.
earlier, but carry on.
Definitely the freshest movie review we've ever done.
Oh, indeed.
It is, yeah.
An hour ago, an hour and a half
Yeah.
ago.
No notes, Chris. No notes.
Speaking of no, it won't be very coherent, this review, that's for sure. But speaking of trailers, it would have been nice to see some trailers for the film today. But unfortunately, 3 of the people I saw it with happened to be late to the cinema.
That's
So I'm not
because
gonna
3 of
name
those
any
people
names.
don't live on the doorstep of the cinema.
And also, we didn't stop you from going in.
This is true.
Well, you did 'cause I had to wait with his food anyway. No, I'm joking. So Logan was the film we all saw earlier on tonight. So as well as giving my usual quick review, we'll do a bit of round table as well because it's fresh in all our minds, isn't it?
I don't think you need to.
I think
it's
that the
gonna be pretty
biggest
obvious.
tribute I can pay to it is that I already really look forward to seeing it again. If that makes sense. So when you come out of a movie and you're like, oh, do you know what? I really look forward to seeing that again, like almost straight away. That's a sign that you like that movie. I'm a huge fan of X2, a big fan of that. Still one of my favourite sort of comic book films. And I actually think at the moment, and I might change, it'd be interesting to see whether I change my mind over the course, and reflect on it a bit more. But having watched it an hour and a half ago, I actually think that's the best X-Men movie they've done. That's how high a compliment I'd pay it. I actually think it usurps X2, which I love. I just love the tone, loads of humour in it, but a good humour, not forced. Like I think because Marvel's been so good at doing humour, a lot of these other films like DC and Fox doing the X-Men, I think at times tried to shoehorn humour in. Whereas for me, it really worked this time because particularly Charles Xavier and Logan at times, it worked because it fitted with their characters and what you know of them from the other films. It didn't feel like humour. They go, do you know what? We haven't had a joke for a few scenes. Let's put one in. It didn't feel like that. It just felt that they just laced them really cleverly and it just fitted with the tone. And aside from that, it had highs and lows, emotional peaks and troughs and things like that. And it was just a real fitting tribute. If that's the last film, which I'm pretty sure it will be, that Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman do.
Patrick Stewart said it won't be his last. Hugh
Oh,
Jackman
has he?
said it is his last.
Oh, okay. Well, that for me is a fitting tribute, and you might as well go off on a high when people just go, do you know what, that was brilliant, rather than go on X3 or something, do you know?
I'm just unravelling that in my head as I've just made that statement, because that is definitely what he said before the movie. And I'm going to make... Should we just...
That's what I wasn't sure about, yeah.
So if you haven't seen Logan yet and you're listening to this and you intend to go and see it and you don't want anything spoiled, you probably want to fast forward just a little bit, because we may unintentionally spoil a few bits here because we can't really talk about it in detail without doing that. Yeah. But yeah, that statement from Patrick Stewart on reflection now seems like an odd one, doesn't it? Yeah, like a bit of a strange thing to say. But I think I won't go on my bite. I don't think I'm necessarily as enamoured with it as perhaps you guys are.
Oh wow, okay.
I had mixed feelings towards the end of it, but I did enjoy it. I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
I think it's definitely the best X-Men film there has been.
No, come on, it is.
No,
we
I'm
have
not with you
blood,
there.
gore,
But then
comedy, darkness. It's definitely the best one.
would you call it an X-Men film then?
I was going to say I'd argue it's not an X-Men film.
Yeah, I'd say it wouldn't be an X-Men film either. I'd say it'd be like a Wolverine, like with the Wolverine origins and bits like that. I'd say it's kind of like a subgenre to X-Men.
I think in order to be the X-Men, you need a team.
Yeah,
The X-Men are a team.
but I suppose you could say that the kids were the team in a way, and maybe that's where they're going to go next.
But I like the fact that it
I don't
gave
think
it an
you'll ever see them
ending.
No, I don't think you will either.
Because you got to think most like Marvel films at the moment are going on and on and on. It will lead to something else and then something else. Where this is actually now we've had a start, middle, and an end. And I like that we've had that.
Well, we had a
They're
start,
not gonna
a middle,
drag
we went
it
back
on.
A bit, we went miles forward, we came back a bit more, we went miles forward. Really been
I
that
think
clean
we've
cut,
had
has
an end now for him. That's
his-
what I
to
like.
his
Yeah,
story.
that's
Yeah.
what I like. We've had an
And
end.
but-
Professor X to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, to his story we have, but I don't know. I still don't think it's an X-Men film to me. I really liked it. The only thing I didn't like, and I said it as we came out of the cinema, and I won't go into detail as to why I didn't like X-24. So when you go and see it, you'll have make your own views. But I didn't like X-24.
Why?
I'd probably go with that. It wasn't the
It
best
felt out of
character.
place to me.
but yeah.
Really felt out of place to me.
No, I don't know. I didn't feel that. I thought she was okay.
She X-24.
Oh, the guy.
I thought she was brilliant.
Oh,
X-23
no,
She
sorry.
played that
was
Yes.
absolutely
so
brilliant.
Oh, I
well.
get what you're
And for
saying
me,
now. Yes.
I mean, like the dynamic between the three, X-23, Logan, and Charles
really
Xavier
good.
was excellent.
Yeah.
That was my favourite bits. And
the
I
heart
think
of the film, wasn't
once
it?
X-24 appeared
Yes, I know what you're
and
saying
did
now.
what he did, it went downhill for me.
Yeah.
After that, I didn't enjoy as the film anywhere near as much after that point that I had in the build-up. All the
Yeah.
stuff in the build-up, I was absolutely. I mean, I was, laughing out loud at certain points. I was sort of, chuckling away at some of the violence. There's some amazing violence in that film. Some of the executions and the kills were epic, and all of us at some point went, "Whoa!" As certain things were happening to individuals' faces and whatever else. But then I don't know. I just felt like I did feel myself thinking, "Oh, I don't know about that." And I was, actively saying in my head, I was like, "How do I feel about this?" I was wrestling with it, and I don't think it's it's not a film killer for me. I don't think I come out of it quite the same level that a lot of the critics have.
Do you think it was a CG Hugh Jackman, or do you think it was just a younger CG?
There's probably bits of everything
Yeah.
going on there. I don't think it was. I think it was him. I think he looks amazingly well for it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you guys think? I didn't think it was CG.
I think there was a little bit in
there was
there,
a
but I don't think
few
there was a
parts of
lot.
There's bound to be a bit of skin polish.
Yeah.
But and obviously the fact that it's impossible for anyone to fight themselves.
I think they
There must
got
have been some
I think
camera
he got a
trick in
stunt double and probably used it because a lot of it felt like he was filmed from the back, his back, wasn't it?
Yeah,
in the fight,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like it was a stunt
Yeah,
double.
I thought it. I mean,
slash,
like I said, I didn't hate it that bit. I
think it came out of
it
left
was-
field a bit, didn't
It
it?
was the first part of the film where I kind of went, "Oh, I feel a bit. I don't know how I feel about that." Whereas everything up to then, I was like, "This is great. I love it. I'm loving it. What a great story. What a great, whatever." And after that, the pacing just felt a little bit odd to me, and I didn't really like that sort of last bit as the story carried on to that last. It was probably the last half an hour or so. I'm not sure how long it was.
It was.
Up until that point, I'd really liked everything that I'd seen.
Yeah.
It just kind of tailed off a little bit towards the end. Probably didn't help that I got to about that point desperate into the toilet. So I was kind of willing the film. I was like, I need to go to the toilet now. I've just drank an entire large Coke. I really need to go and have a wee. Oh my God, is this film ever going to end? Sort of thing. Towards the end, it got a little bit like that. But it was a fitting tribute, I think.
Yeah.
And like you said, if we never see him play that role again,
I think he signed off definitely on a high compared to the other two Wolverine films. Think about that. Well, the last one was alright.
So I was going to say, they've got. It's interesting that
they've
got progressively better, haven't they? The first one was terrible.
Yes.
Wolverine Origins, I always remember, and we joked about it on the way out the cinema, the wobbly CG claws at one point, and there's just so many bad things about that film. The second one, I liked that. I didn't have a problem with that at all. I enjoyed it.
Not as good as that one.
What I wish is, because they cut a lot of, there was an extended version, which was like a blood version of the second film, where certain fight scenes were extended significantly.
Is that the one in Japan?
Yeah.
What was that called again?
The Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
Just the
Oh, was that all it was?
The Wolverine. But in that, they cut a load of stuff for general Blu-ray release and cinema release. You know the bit when he gets, they pin him down with the archers.
Yeah.
And they're sort of slowing him down.
Oh yes, I have
That
seen
was
that.
heavily
Actually.
extended, and there was lots of blood and fighting, and it was all taken out. And it was at the time that the Deadpool film was sort of greenlit, I think, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, R-rated, wouldn't that be great?" Then on the Blu-ray release, they did but they never released that Blu-ray in the UK.
Oh, okay.
So
I think I might have seen it because I think we downloaded the film
Yeah.
legally.
Sources
Legally.
internet.
Special
Downloaded it
sources.
legally.
Special source.
Special sauce.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't want to hear about your special sauce, pal.
So okay then. So we've got.
Should we do the ratings? Yeah.
No, I was just going to ask before you do the ratings. So this whole X-Men best film. So you've already said you think it's better than. Do you say
it's on a par with
X2?
I need to think more about like.
Vicky, you're saying
Yeah.
gets above for you, and you're what do you think?
I think it's the best Wolverine film. I'd say it's. Yeah, it's better than X2. Yeah, I'm going to agree with my girlfriend.
Woohoo! First time for something.
For an easy life.
For an easy life.
There's no such thing as having an easy life with me.
Weirdly, I don't have the attachment to the X2 that you do. You love X2. I don't know. I'm still not sure if I think it's the best X. It's just not an X-Men film to me.
Yeah,
I can't get on board with that without.
That's what I was
X-Men
going
to me needs Cyclops.
Yes.
I need Jean Grey in there. I need some of those familiar Storm. I don't need all of them together, but I need a few more familiar faces and a more familiar story. I'd be interested. I've never read the Old Man Logan comics. I'd be interested to see how much have they borrowed from that. Here's another question for you before you score it, Chris. Do you think that you would have got as much? Let's say you've never seen an X-Men film, and then you go and sit and watch this film. How much do you need to have seen X-Men or know about X-Men for this to make sense? Because I felt like from the very beginning, there was a lot of assumptions made about what you knew of the past of these characters.
Yeah, and some of it was sort of mentioned, was it, like the Statue of Liberty from the first X-Men? That was kind of just shoehorned in there. But then I thought, I'm just thinking about it now, I don't think you'd need to know that much. You'd probably need to know who Professor X is, and you'd need to know who Wolverine is and his powers to a certain extent. But I think
That's about it, really.
Yeah.
There's not much. You could still watch and enjoy it and not know much about the previous films.
Yeah, I would go with that.
But you still need to know the characters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd say you'd need to know who Professor X is, and
That's
you need
what I
to
mean.
know.
So if
Wolverine.
you didn't know the back, let's forget the movies then. Let's just say backstory of these individuals.
Yeah.
So like at no point do they properly address what Magneto, wrong film, what Xavier's powers are.
Yeah.
They kind of allude to the fact that it seems to affect other people. They never really mention. They say he's got a really dangerous brain, but they never mention what the powers are. They don't ever sort of explicitly talk about Wolverine's powers or how old he is.
Or why he's.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of one-liners. One about, I think this is the gun line, isn't there? At one
Yes.
point. And he's like, yeah, I've seen a few and stuff like that. And he references things that we know to be his history, his life. But I just wonder how much that passes you by if you don't know this backstory.
You wouldn't. I don't think you'd enjoy the emotions of the film and get the sort of depth of the jokes, the references, and also the sort of heart and sort of the having that sort of attachment to the characters. But I think that's for the right reasons. I think this was meant to be a bit of a from Hugh Jackman's point of view, particularly a sort of nice sign off for the fans. And in order to do that, it would have watered it down to kind of introduce it for a new viewer, wouldn't it? Really,
It would have been interesting to see how that film would have gone if it wasn't for Deadpool. and if that film would have happened at all.
I don't think it would have been made.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say you could have made that without the. If you took all the R8 and all the swearing and everything out of that, you haven't got a film really.
I kind of felt a bit weird with the swearing, not as much from Wolverine, but from Patrick Stewart. I was like,
you're not used to it.
you shouldn't be swearing. You're Patrick Stewart.
But
You're Professor X.
But it kind of gave it gave you what you needed for him, which was this guy's now a grumpy old man.
Yes, exactly.
You know, things have passed him by. He's not the man he used to be, and he's not in control the way he used to be. I think that worked.
I think it made it like a bit more realistic.
Yeah,
as well.
definitely. It was just at first I was like, "Whoa, don't say the F word, please."
I think it's funny because you are so used to him being that guiding mentor and the voice of reason, to have him suddenly going, "Oh, fucking only the."
It felt more like the Professor X that James McAvoy perceives than Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, definitely.
Although I don't think I'd feel comfortable with McAvoy swearing.
No, well, no.
I think it's something you don't associate with Xavier, isn't it? Xavier's always the guy who's
clean cut,
bringing everybody else down. Yeah,
and just thinking about it, obviously with First Class, when they had the cameo from Wolverine, there was going to be that swearing in there that sort of just cut away, as he said.
Yeah,
he was about to say "fuck off." That's quite funny.
It's also interesting that you don't ever see him smoke a cigar either.
No,
he picks one up, doesn't he? From that,
yeah,
he never smokes it.
Yeah,
which is, I don't know if that's like a conscious choice because of the sort of.
Well, he's quite ill.
Yeah, he's ill, isn't he? Yeah, interesting.
But I needed a bit of thing going on there as to why he's poorly.
Yeah, they didn't really say that. They just kind of.
He alluded it to a certain extent that it's the adamantium that's poisoning him.
Yeah.
But then they didn't really go into any detail or anything really as to why he's poorly.
Mm.
So,
Chris, then give it a score, and then we'll move on to.
It's a very at
no
the moment,
half
it's
stars.
a very solid 4. If I like it as much, second time I do it, it could end up being a 5, but I'll give it 4 for now.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
Are we all scoring it? Are we?
No, I'm just giving Chris the 2 thumbs up.
It's obviously a very weird thing for me to be watching while we're talking about this on the podcast. As Carl sticking 2 thumbs up, Chris.
But I'm not.
Nobody listening to this doesn't know that you're not doing that. Then
no,
you could be thumbing away. Okay, so
Chris would be making all sorts of noises if I was thumbing away.
It's just away from.
And they would not be satisfaction. Anyway,
before we move on to the sort of the quiz time, then, and we've got a few rounds of that to look forward to. Just a reminder to everyone, if you are listening, to like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get in touch with us, you can at bossbattlenetwork@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at bossbattlenet. Let us know what you've been up to. Let us know your thoughts on anything we've said. If you've seen Logan and you didn't agree with anything we've said, then let us know. We'd like to hear your views.
We did have a tweet, didn't we?
We had a tweet from a cat.
We did have a tweet
asking for Chris to be turned into the human Oscar we joked about last week. Although I think we all know where that came from.
We certainly do. Speaking of that person,
I don't have anything on there. You want the theme tune to 21 Questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you had that on the.
It is there. No, it's there. I wasn't ready to do that. But that's fine. Do you want to do that again? I'm not going to put it out. But we'll pretend we did.
Yeah.
Try the mic as well. There you go.
What?
That's really loud. Right, and so we're going to start with 21 questions. This was something we brought in on the last episode. So if you haven't listened to episode 12, you need to go back and have a listen to it. I forgot to mention as well, with this being episode 13, it's our 6 months of podcasting, which is great. We're still going 6 months later. Who knew? Anyway, so 21 questions is a bit like 20 questions. The topic will be some form of geek-related culture. I won't tell you what it is. It could be a movie, it could be a game, it could be a character, it could be a TV program. You've got to work that out. You've got 21 questions to do it. And before we actually play, and while you get yourselves all G'd up, stretch the muscles, get yourselves ready, get yourselves thinking, we'll play our theme tune.
I got 21 questions to go. I got 21 questions to go. If you're geeky and you know, in the podcast studio, I got 21 questions before I got to know. Is it video game or TV show? Is it movie or action hero? If you're geeky and you know, in the podcast studio, I got 21 questions before I got to know. 21 questions, tut.
It gets funner every time I listen to it.
It does.
It's so badly
What
edited, but
was
it's
that?
That was
great. That
Gareth.
was something I wrote in the park and Gaz recorded in the car park.
Oh,
During,
And his wife,
during
because he's giving birth.
as it turns out, and I didn't know this at the point of asking him, and he didn't let on. He was actually at the hospital while his wife was giving birth to his first child. So thank you very much for that, Gareth, and fair play. Welcome to Daisy, for anyone who's listening as well. So 21 questions then, guys. There is yes or no answers only. I'll try and answer it as honestly as I can. It's over to you now. You've got 21 questions to work out what it is that I've written down on my phone.
And we can discuss it. But we have to say.
We can help
what's-
each other.
Well, no,
it's
it's a
a
team.
cooperation,
This is a team.
Oh, we're a
It's like-
team.
We go
Yes,
head
we're
to
a
head.
team.
We go head to
Okay.
head afterwards. So, who's going to fire me the first question?
You
Sh-
should lead the way.
ladies first.
No, I've never played
Shall we
this
say
before,
it's a?
so
Should
you
we
lot
ask if
lead
it's
the
a
way.
film?
Let's narrow it down the genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to be a film. It can be anything. It can be a
No,
box in the corner.
When I say genre, I meant like as in if it's a film,
Okay.
if you're an actor or whatever. Yeah.
Is it a
I
film?
think I'm just going to tie these to your faces.
It would be
easy.
easier.
I'm a-
Yeah, it would.
If I
Be.
just do like an elastic band around the back of your face and then just the mic attached to the bottom of your jaw so that you don't run away from it. Right, go on. So, what did you ask?
Is it
Is
a
it a
film?
film?
Is it a film? No. One
Shit.
question.
So what are we going to ask next? Is it a gadget or something?
A
Gadget.
person, maybe. 'Cause then we can narrow
Okay,
down
yeah.
to actor or
I say
character.
person.
Yeah. Go on then, Vicky. You go.
Is it a person?
This is a difficult to answer. Can you
Is
be
it a
more
living
specific?
A living
No,
thing.
Can you be more
No,
specific? Are
that's-
you asking me if it's...
Is it conscious?
Is it a fictional person or a non-fictional person?
Ooh.
What are you asking me?
Is it a
Now we're getting
non-fiction?
We just wanted to know.
Complicated.
We'll start broad. So, is it a name of sort of?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Two questions.
could be character, could be fiction, could be.
So should we
actor,
ask
could
if
be-
it's? Should we ask if it's fiction or not? It's not really.
No, what
Difficult.
game? It
Put your
is.
face
No,
in
because
front
you're
of
it.
looking
Sit
at, but you can't.
Just
it's
sit
hard-
there and not move.
It's hard to not look at people when you're talking to them.
I'm
That's
looking
my
at you
point.
right now.
Oh, just you go.
Yeah, Carl. Your turn.
So should we just say ask if it's fiction or non-fiction?
Yes. Do it.
So fiction or non-fiction? Which one am I going with?
It doesn't really make much difference. Just ask me.
Is it non-fiction? Is this person based on non-fiction?
As in a real person.
Yeah, as in
No.
as in a not real person.
No, fiction is not
How
real.
have
isn't
you
it?
confused
Fiction
yourself?
is yes,
Not real.
yes.
Non-fiction. So
Yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
So,
So special.
Jesus Christ. So no, this
this
person,
still-
this person is not non-fiction.
Okay.
i.e. they're fiction.
Yes.
Just checking.
Are they from a computer game?
No. Mm.
I might give them
Do
some
you need to Google this?
No, I don't need to Google it.
Are you sure?
I'm going to say yes.
So they are from a computer game. I'm guessing they're probably going to be in a film as well. Should we ask? Just is this person?
Is this character more synonymous with a film than computer game, or is it even?
I'm not going to
If
answer.
it's okay,
I can't
no,
answer.
all right. Is the film pre 1990s?
Is what
The
film?
characters.
No,
in-
this is.
the
Yeah.
character's in a film, isn't it? We know that. So
Do you?
Do we?
yeah,
Would
we
you
do,
ask me
don't
that?
we?
Have you asked
Well,
that?
he's in fiction and he's
I think you've made
he's
an
in a
assumption.
computer game.
Well, to be fair,
Well,
you
ask
might-
that question then, Carl.
Is this
you can ask the question if you want it, Chris.
is this person in a film?
Yes.
Yes. So they're in a game and a film.
Is that another question?
That's not another question.
Well, I'm
I'm
just
I'm just looking at you while I'm spitballing.
How many are you?
So
Just
How
five.
many
You've
use?
got plenty of five.
should we ask if this person's male or female? Yeah. Is this character male or female? Oh,
No, no,
is this character male?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a reminder
So
that-
it's a male character in a computer game and a video game.
And remember, just before anyone thinks about throwing out guesses, if you guess and you guess wrong, you lose.
Yes.
So your guess has to be the right guess.
So we can't even. Oh, okay.
It-
You can't,
The-
you can't
the-
suddenly get to
the-
the point where you just start throwing random guesses at me.
Yeah.
So that was my tactic.
Right, okay.
Is the character in a single movie?
I'm not quite sure what.
Is
So
there
trying see
sequels
if
to
it's
this
a
movie?
series,
that they're in?
basically. So if it's
Yes.
a single movie, yeah. So
There's-
it's a single movie.
Oh,
or-
sorry, you said sequels, so
Yeah.
no. So no, not a single movie.
So okay, we know it's potentially a franchise then.
Mhm.
Okay. We need to
So-
get the era now, don't we, to start to narrow it down. Do you think? So the release.
Well,
sort
a
of-
genre maybe. Well, I'm guessing it's probably going to be action because there aren't many computer game, video game films that are not action.
Exactly. So we know it's probably action. I think I have an idea.
And then male. I'm feeling Hitman-ish.
I'm feeling. Those
Assassin's
films-
Creed maybe. No.
Those films I don't like.
Resident Evil.
No.
No.
That's spy.
It's like a game within a game.
Okay.
Spy
You know,
one.
Vicky's
James
playing a
Bond.
game within a game. You come on.
James-
Sure.
Is the
Well, yeah,
first
okay.
film the characters in pre 1990?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
See, I think it's going to be a film that was
Pre-1990s,
made
not
into a
Hitman.
game rather than the other way around. You see, that's why I asked that.
Yeah.
So I think could
you might be
like
on.
Indiana
You might be
Jones.
on with James Bond
I think
actually,
I'm-
and he's a male
Yeah. Okay. So
because they have made video games of James Bond. Quite a
They
few actually.
have different actors played this character in movies?
Yes.
Oh, I think we're on it there.
I don't want to say it just in case I'm wrong.
Well, no, well, we can
guys.
narrow it
We'll
down.
narrow it down,
But
yeah.
you've done 9 questions so far.
Yeah.
Is the
You've got-
character British?
No.
Ooh.
Okay, so we've ruled it out.
So that's 10 questions.
11.
11 to go. Remember, your 11th one has the 21st question is your guess. If you
Yes.
haven't guessed by that point.
hmm
Okay.
So it
10
can't be
questions.
James Bond then if,
Can't
he's,
be
if the
James
character's
Bond.
English.
So
And it's pre-1990 and in a video game.
It's going to be hard for me.
could be something like Indiana Jones, but let's try and narrow it.
Ask him if the character's American
Yeah. narrow it,
or
wouldn't
a
it?
human. He might not even be human.
I'll wait till you direct a question.
Yeah.
Is the character American?
Yes.
Okay.
Is the oh, no, hang on. He said different actors have played the character, doesn't it? So it's not Indiana Jones. Sorry,
Did he say that?
he did,
Yes,
didn't
he
he?
Yeah,
did.
he did.
Oh, so
Okay.
yeah, way
different
off the right
This
line
is
there.
getting
So
it's
it's-
getting tricky now.
Multiple actors, person,
Male.
male, so there's a 1980s or earlier film, so it started quite early.
So there's been Indiana Jones that I can think of, but it's been played by different characters.
Different actors, American. We did Batman last week. It can't be Batman, can it? Spider-Man, maybe. When was the first Spider-Man film?
Superman,
90s,
I'm
wasn't it?
thinking
Superman was pre-90s.
Superman could be. Yeah, Spider-Man is not. Although
Did this character originate in comic books?
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay, so okay, it's all right.
So it could be Superman. Although Superman's not American, technically.
Well,
Should we ask if this character is human?
Yeah.
Is this character human?
Yes.
Okay. So it can't be Superman then, can it?
Can't be Superman.
Or it could be Clark Kent.
is this character?
Although that's-
Did this character originate in a Marvel comic?
Yes.
I think it's gonna be Hulk, but let's try and narrow it down. Has this? Oh, no.
Ask the questions before you ask the question to us.
Yes.
You know?
We are your team.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
Come on, Chris.
And
There's no I
Into
in
the
team,
mic.
Chris.
So it's an American.
Into the mic.
It's an American.
into the mic.
Marvel. You said don't ask.
No. You talk to the mic because we want to record what you're saying, but you don't have to.
No,
Just into the mic.
No, what was you
I'm
gonna
not
say?
letting pick on you, Chris. I'll beat him up when we get home.
Right. What do you want me to ask?
Well, what was you going to say before you
It's
turned into a whisper?
American. It's an American character in a Marvel comics that's been in loads of different films, different character, not loads, but in different films, different characters. So we need to narrow down the Marvel comic character, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only
So
one,
how do you do
I
that?
think you might be on the road with the Hulk because
Yes.
I can't think of any other Marvel characters that are American that have been played by different people in films.
Should we ask a question that would rule out the Hulk if it's not, so then we can go in a different direction? So it'd either tell us it'd get us closer to it. So
Yes, ask if
Shall
this
we ask
character
if it
is
turns
green.
green?
Yeah, is this character green?
No.
Ooh.
You should have said, does it turn green? Because he's not green all the time.
Well, he is. If the character is the Hulk, he's green.
He's not green all the time.
Well, what other colour is he then? Oh, yeah, obviously he's grey, but you won't know that.
There's a Red Hulk as well.
Yeah.
Comic books.
15
15 questions. You've
Oh,
Oh,
got
shit.
5 more before you've
God.
got a guess.
So if it's not the Hulk, and we're talking Marvel, computer games, films, and it's not the Hulk. Do we want to completely rule out the? No, because the Hulk's not been grey in any other. He's not been any other colour than green in the films. So it can't be the Hulk.
Is this character?
And it's before 90s as well. So
So in the comic book world, did this character start off with his own comic? So I'm sort of trying to get that he's not like an X-Man type thing. Do you know what I mean?
I would think the answer is yes.
Okay.
he had his
Say
own
yes.
comic.
I'm 95% sure it's yes.
So we're thinking it's a major sort of.
Well,
So that rules out the X-Men, doesn't it?
What
So that's-
Marvel films have there been before the 90s?
Good question.
I can think of there was a Captain America one, which was I think there was one in the 70s and the 80s, but it was really bad. And I only know that from the Honest Trailers. Spider-Man, I think, had a
I
film.
thought 90s was the first film, but might be wrong. Is there an older film than the Tobey Maguire? 'Cause that was 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 90s. I don't
I
think
don't
there's
know.
an
I think
older one.
the first
Millennial.
Spider-Man might have been 2000.
Yeah.
Was there an old Iron Man?
I'm not. I think there was
I think there was.
there was an Iron Man with like the Avengers type. Well, the Captain America. Should we ask if this character is an Avenger?
Good question.
Good question,
Is this
Carl.
character an Avenger?
That's a tricky one to answer. I will say yes,
Right.
but that may end up misleading you.
So maybe he...
The answer is yes, but I don't want to mislead you.
So he's
It's
not
not
always
as clean cut
one.
as possibly where you're thinking. It
Yeah.
might be.
Okay. So possibly sometimes an Avenger.
That's just confused me more.
Um,
I was just checking something that I'd given an answer to was correct, and I'm fine.
Good. Good. Do you want to tell us what that was?
yeah.
No.
That's fine. So how many questions have we got left?
Everything I've answered so far is correct.
Good.
You have got 4, including your guess.
Oh,
4.
Jesus.
Okay, so we've got 4 questions. And we're on with Marvel character that's been in. Oh, because it's been in a game as well. That
Yeah.
might narrow it down to a certain extent. Well, no, it probably won't actually. Because Ultimate Alliance has had loads of them.
Sometimes he's Avenger.
Is there a obvious part-time Avenger that you can think of that's got his own comic, like would be a major character sort of thing?
The only one I can think of is kind of an Avenger, but not an Avenger, would be Nick Fury.
Don't put looking at me for visual cue.
No, I'm not. I'm
trying
just.
to make sure my face is as straight as possible. 4 questions to go. Remember, you can always concede if you want to let me win.
Now we'll at least get to a guess, won't we?
Yeah,
Even if it's like we got
Even
no
if it's
chance,
wrong.
we'll just guess.
So we've still got 4 questions, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Nick Fury's ever been in a computer game, but I don't think he has. And
That vape stick makes an intriguing noise through the microphone.
It's basically my
kind of
brain.
noise.
Yeah, helps you
that you
think.
think-
My
that you
brain.
think in parallel.
Have me think.
4 questions.
I'm stumped at the
Well,
minute.
thanks.
I really am stumped.
There must be some ways you could narrow this down.
No, but what?
You've got you obviously you know exactly what area you're looking at. You've narrowed that quite well, so there must be things you can think of.
Yeah.
That you can ask that'll take
We know
that down
who's
even further.
in a film. We don't know who's the main character in a film.
yeah, that's why I was kind of asked the Avengers question. And it's definitely not the Hulk, so that's that Avenger gone.
Ant-Man?
It's the fact that he said it don't necessarily mislead you. It's not the. Main
That's why
one.
I was
It's not
thinking.
Captain
That's why I was
America
thinking
or
of Nick
anything
Fury, because he's sort of an Avenger, but not an Avenger. I don't know. I think maybe we should put the Avengers thing to one side.
We need to think how we can actually kind of almost, like it's guess who top thing now, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
glasses.
Yeah.
Your glasses, you get
Does
rid
he
of a
wear
load. Like what? Or can we say that about
Has he
this
got
man,
a
this
round
American
face?
man?
And we've got to think of this the character as well, not obviously the actor.
Yeah, exactly.
I would hope by this point listeners are screaming the answer.
Yeah, probably.
I'd hope they are as
Yeah, we'll
well.
do it
If they
for
can
us.
scream the answer into my ear, I'd be really glad.
That's not how pre-recorded
Oh,
content
crap.
works.
We could try and narrow down the power of the character.
Well, if they do have a special power.
Well, yeah.
Come on, Vicky,
But
you
I
haven't
don't
asked a question
think-
for a while.
You are?
You
Well-
haven't asked a question for a while. Come on.
Because I'm trying to think. That's
This-
quite
this-
hard. It's quite late.
The only Avengers-y type characters that I can think pre-90s that would be in a... I could ask that if the character has been in a video game before the 90s.
Go for it. I'm stumped at the minute, so yeah, go for it.
Come on then.
I don't think you should ask that question.
Well, no, because I think it's stumping James, so I
Yeah.
think I will. Has the character been in a video game before the 90s?
Right, hang on. I think
He's just waiting for Google to load.
I think my answer is. So you want to know what was it when you
90s.
Pre-90s.
Because that's when the film was. Or he's been in that character's
yes.
been in the film. So they have been in a computer game pre-90s as well as a film. So I'm thinking Spider-Man again.
I'm still thinking, asking if they've got a superpower or not. I'm still thinking maybe that could be a question.
Go on then.
Yeah.
I think they're good.
Go
I
for
don't
it.
want to waste a question.
That's Vicky. We've got right.
I
questions.
can't
Go
think
on.
of a character that's
Which
not
one?
had a
This is how many
superpower.
questions you're down to now.
3. Yeah.
I can't think of a character that's not had a superpower that would have been in a film pre-90s and in a video game.
If you don't-
I'm leaning towards Spider-Man.
Well, why didn't you ask the question then if this person shoots webs from their wrist?
Well, yeah, could ask that.
Or are they based? in New
Is there
York?
any reason why it couldn't be
A lot of
Spider-Man?
them are, aren't they?
I think there was a corny Spider-Man film, or at least definitely a TV series pre-90. I remember watching one at some point. It was awful.
Well, why don't you ask the Spider-Man related question
Okay.
then?
How shall I ask it?
In a
Because I can't say is this person Spider-Man because that's the question, and if it's not, then we're
think of
buggered.
something that Spider-Man
Okay.
has.
Can this person crawl on walls?
Yes.
It's got to be Spider-Man, hasn't it?
It's got to be. Well,
Okay,
we've got a couple
we've got two more
Yeah,
questions.
one of which is
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I think
You've
we
got
should
one more
ask the
question you
webbing
can
one.
use
Yeah,
to
yeah.
narrow this
Go
down.
on.
Can this person shoot webs from their wrists? Hang on. I'm gonna have to. Can this person shoot webs from their wrists using a device?
Yes.
Boom, boom, ding, ding, ding! We have a winner.
It's Spider-Man. I won for the team. Yay!
It is Spider-Man. Well done.
Well done, guys.
I did think you were going to take yourselves away from that because at one point you were just like, it's not Spider-Man, it can't be Spider-Man, it must be Hulk. And I was like, you don't know it's not Spider-Man.
So what
At
film
one
was
point-
it before? So was this a cartoon?
There's
or-
loads of films
Is
that
there?
predate the
Yeah,
ones that we
there's
all
been
know.
some quite
There was
cheesy
a whole
ones.
load of Marvel films done before we would even have cared as
Oh,
kids.
bloody hell.
that were
There's
really
a couple of them
bad.
on the honest trailers. There's a Captain America one which just looks awful.
Yeah. And that's what I was double checking because that's the one I wasn't sure. I thought, you all kept going. There isn't one since before Tobey Maguire. I was thinking, I'm sure there was, or am I thinking of a TV series? So I wanted to clarify.
I think there was a TV series as well because I think it was about the same time as the Hulk one, maybe.
It probably would have been
yeah.
around that time. Yeah, and I think a lot of that stuff was happening at the same
I thought you were looking at the computer game because all I was
I
thinking.
did look at the computer
To
game.
be
You did
fair-
because all I was thinking was Maximum Carnage.
Yeah.
Because
It's a good job you had the web for it, to be fair.
Hey, dear man. Oh, what was it? Where's it gone?
That's for Chris's job.
Can't we get something to like carry around with us and use all the time when he does this really bad joke?
Well, at some
Like
point,
a-
that's probably
like a
going to be in the
soundboard.
middle of the table so we can all press it.
So we're on to the competitive element of the day then.
Oh God, they're sitting next to each other.
Do you want to play that again?
Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Everyone knows what this is. So, Vic, have you got your phone to hand?
Yes, I do.
Cool. 'Cause you need to write your answers down as we go along.
Right, okay.
First of all, though,
Just on
it's a
the
keyword
notes.
countdown. So for Vicky's benefit, as she's not done this before, I have got 3 different films.
Oh, you don't need it for these people.
You don't need your phone for this bit.
I'm going to say I've got 7% battery, so
It's fine. I've got 3 different films. I'm going to read you 10 different keywords that are used on IMDb to describe this film. Some of them are very obvious. Some of them are a bit out there. You can have as many guesses as you like, and you have to guess the film that we're looking for.
are we a team still?
No.
This is competitive now.
Oh, God.
So there are points on the board.
So no punching
A
people.
quick review of the scores and where we're at now, so we know what we're competing for. Carl is at the top of the leaderboard with 40 points.
Booyah.
Chris is just behind on 37 points, and Adam and Gareth are miles behind on 14 points and not here. So Vic, you have a chance to even possibly surpass them if you do really well at this.
Well, since this is like, you've played it a couple of times now, don't you think I should get like a head start of like
Okay.
maybe 20 points?
No.
Why?
Because that gives you more points than Gareth and Adam already.
Okay, 15.
No,
Still gives you
Ten.
more.
bonus points. So, are you ready?
No.
Yep.
So movie number 1.
I don't get anything.
And basically, from a point scoring perspective, there's 10 questions, 20 keywords I'll read you, and the points go down the more words I have to read before you guess it. So we'll start at 10 points, and it trickles down to every word I read. So if you get it on the 10th clue, you only get 1 point.
And there's 3 rounds, and there's a bonus.
Bonus point
For
the
theme.
IMDb rating for each film,
Yeah.
and also for the overall theme, if you can guess it.
Yeah.
So, film number 1, are you ready?
Yes.
Haunted by the Past. Strong female character.
Gothica.
Architecture.
Ghost.
Fantasy becomes reality.
Matrix.
Kidnapping.
Oh, Inception. No. Inception?
Is that a guess?
Yes.
Yes, it's Inception. So I thought you'd have that one, to be fair. So, Carl, you get to have your first crack at the IMDb score.
Ooh.
You have to get within 0.5 of a point. It's out of 10, but they're all point scales. So you go first. What do you think IMDb's current score is sitting at for that film?
8.8.
8.8 from Carl. Anybody else want to have a guess?
8.5.
8.1.
It's 8.8. Bang on the nose, Carl.
Oh, I'm on
So,
fire.
7
Hate
points.
your face.
7 points for you. So that was your first film.
If
Carl.
anyone doesn't know Vicky, which you probably won't listen to this, she's very competitive.
I'm not that competitive.
Are you ready?
Put the knife down.
Movie number 2. Are you ready?
Yes.
Post-apocalypse.
Matrix.
It's the Matrix.
Oh, yes.
Seriously?
So the other clues were government agent, hand-to-hand combat, rooftop chase, deja vu, salvation, artificial reality, pill, hacker, black trench coat. So what did IMDb have for that score? Carl, you get to go first again.
Around
Not around.
8.
Number. 8 from Carl. Chris.
7.7.
7.7.
7.
Oh, no one gets a point. 8.7.
Ooh, that high.
Stayed quite well, hasn't it, over the years?
Mm.
Normally the older films kind of drop a bit.
So Carl, you've done your score. No harm whatsoever there with those first 2 ones.
Oh, I know. And Chris is crying in the corner.
Oh,
I thought you'd have nailed Inception.
I thought I'd have got
Yeah.
Inception, but strong
I didn't think.
female
I thought I'd got
characters
the
threw me
Matrix one geared
completely.
well enough that you wouldn't get that quite so quickly. But anyway.
Well,
Number 3.
I'm sensing the theme already.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Movie number 3. Are you ready?
Yep.
Boy.
Bicentennial Man.
So out there. Not
AI.
that.
AI. Oh, I was going to say.
Star Wars reference.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
California.
Men in Black.
1980s.
Men in Black 3.
Dolly Zoom.
Back to the Future.
Empathy.
Dolly Zoom.
Brain's not working.
Friendly alien.
E.T.
It is E.T. Well done. Got it. You got
Well,
it.
that's not the
Dolly
theme,
Zoom
then.
is the camera.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was, but I thought,
So
okay.
that was 4 points for that one, Chris. Unless you can get the bonus. So what's IMDb got that score? So you know.
Ooh.
8.1.
8.1 from Chris. Vicky.
8.8.
8.8.
I was going to say 8.8.
Bum tough.
Carl.
8.4.
Chris got it. 7.9.
Hey.
The lowest
Okay.
scoring of all of those. Interesting.
Yeah.
He's still in there.
Isn't it?
So that was the 3 films. Does anyone think they know what the theme
I
was?
thought the theme might have been alternate reality, but E.T. sort of throws it out the way there. It's not aliens.
Special effects.
Fantasy.
No, that's a good guess there.
So what was there? Was
So you had
Matrix,
Inception, The Matrix,
Inception.
and E.T.
Dreams.
No.
Ooh, that's a good
Interesting
guess.
one, though.
Yeah.
Interesting guess. Scoop, it's not right.
Close but no cigar.
No, no one got it.
No.
Steven
No.
Spielberg?
Concede?
No? Yeah,
No.
concede.
Yeah.
They're all Oscar-winning movies.
Oh.
Oh, good theme. Good theme.
Tied it back into earlier on.
Yeah.
You did. Well, you did that last time.
Yeah.
You are clever.
So this is where you need your phones. So this is your multiple choice questions. Chance to pick up a few extra bonus points. The theme is Spider-Man.
Oh, wow. We know who's going to win this, don't we?
So Lee.
Yeah,
So-
it doesn't matter because they're so
Oh,
obscure.
mate.
Chris won it last time and he didn't have a clue.
This is the first ever episode you got everything right. And it
Yeah,
was
I
like
think it was,
a
wasn't it?
gaming one. It made
Yeah.
no sense. Okay, so question number 1 is your TV question. You just to write down your answer and then I'll ask you at the end what your answer was. So, in the 1994 Spider-Man TV series produced by Fox, who performed on the title track?
So the question again, sorry.
In the 1994 Spider-Man TV series produced by Fox, who performed the title track?
Oh, I know this one.
So, do you?
If it's the one I think it is.
So is it A, Joe Perry of Aerosmith? Is it B, Slash from Guns N' Roses? Is it C, Kirk Hammett from Metallica? Or is it D, Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains? Do you want me to read those again?
No, I'm good.
No? You happy? You got an answer?
Think so.
You are talking
It's a
about
guess.
the cartoon, aren't you?
I said TV, and I said the 1994 Spider-Man TV series produced by Fox.
Okay.
Yes, the cartoon.
Yeah. Might know that answer.
Unless you're aware of another TV series that was run in that era.
No.
No? Everyone got an answer then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, on to question number 2, which is your movie question. Which Spider-Man movie had the reported highest budget? Is it A, Spider-Man, the original with Tobey Maguire, £140 million? I don't want to read that out, do I? I'm going to stop there for the next 3. Is it
Brilliant.
Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire? I'll give you a small clue there on the first one. Is it C, The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield? Or is it The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield? So a small clue there by accident. 'Cause forgot
I don't think
not
it would
to
have
read
given
out
much
everything
too
I've
much
written
away,
down.
really.
So which of those was the highest, had the reported highest budget? Was it Spider-Man 1, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, or Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, or The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield? And I will tell you what the amounts were afterwards, having already told you one of them. Question 3 then is gaming related. I'm going to read my question before I go through everything and cock it up. Since his first appearance on the Atari 2600 in the 1980s, would be useful for everyone. How many Spider-Man video games has there been up to and including the forthcoming PS4 exclusive? This does not include games that Spider-Man features in, specifically Spider-Man as the title character.
Oh, okay.
So, is it A, 24, B, 28, C, 33, or D, 37? So, how many games since his original appearance on the Atari 2600 in the 80s has Spider-Man been the title character in? 24, 28, 33, or 37? Has everyone made selections for the 3 questions?
Yes.
Perfect. So, I will go to Chris first on question number 1. Who
Go to me, because I know this one.
we'll come around to you after. Who performed
Okay.
on the title track?
I guessed at Kirk from Metallica.
Nope.
Great.
Okay. Vicky,
I can't remember. I think I picked C.
which was
No, it's not
also
C.
Kirk Hammett from Metallica.
Okay.
It was the geezer from Aerosmith.
It was Joe Perry from Aerosmith. I genuinely didn't think you'd know that. That's
Oh,
a very
how many
strange
times have I
reason.
watched that Spider-Man cartoon?
Well, yeah,
Come
but
on.
I don't. I only
Seriously.
knew because I googled Spider-Man TV and then found a question I decided on. Yeah, so Carl, you got a point for that one. Question 2 then was the movie budget question. I'll go for the same order. Chris, what did you think was the highest reported budget?
I guessed at Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3,
Yeah.
okay. And Vicky, what did you guess?
I guess The Amazing Spider-Man 2,
So the most recent.
most recent.
Okay.
I went with Spider-Man 3.
You went to Spider-Man 3. 2 of you are right. It's
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3.
'Cause
But only by a small margin.
Oh, really? I think that's more because it was a lot older than, what it is now.
If you adjust it for inflation, it's probably different. But so Spider-Man 1 will blow your mind. It was 140 million. Spider-Man 3 was 258 million. Amazing Spider-Man then was 230 million. And then Spider-Man 2, you were close, 250 million. So there's only 8 million in it. Only 8 million.
I'm
But
not going
in
to
that
say
context-
only.
I-
Wow.
context.
I guess 3 because I'm pretty sure it was kind of an educated guess anyway. Because that pretty much killed Raimi, didn't it? Because he spent so much money on it and it was just crap.
Yeah, he did. Well, if you read on, he actually was still signed up for a 4th and 5th. I
Yeah.
started reading into all this stuff then, and it was the performance of the 3rd one that basically canned it. The studio
Yeah.
said no more, but he felt rushed because he didn't like the fact that he wasn't given the time to do that job properly, and he had a story for number 4, but I think he walked away then when he realised they weren't going to give him the time to do it properly. So the 3rd question was gaming related. It was the question around how many times has Spider-Man been the title character in a game since the 2600 right through to the forthcoming PS4 exclusive. Chris, what did you go for?
33.
33?
28.
28?
I went with C, which I think was 33, but I
33.
was considering that 37.
You should have gone with 37.
Oh, no, I should have. I
37 was the
changed
correct
it.
answer. 37 different video games since the 80s that Spider-Man...
Doesn't surprise me.
So when you asked the question earlier on, has he been in a game...
Maximum Carnage.
No, you asked, has he been in a game pre-90s?
Oh, okay.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Would have been the correct answer. So, end of that then, Carl gets an extra 2 points for his score. Vicky, none of you scored any, and Chris got 1. So, we haven't even got to add Vicky's name to the roll and quiz scores at the moment. So, I'll
No.
wait till you get on the board on another episode.
Thanks.
So that brings us to the close. We've done a typically long episode again. Thanks very much, lads.
You're welcome.
And lady.
Thank you.
Welcome, Vicky. Hopefully we'll see you for another one. It's good fun listening to you two argue while me and Chris So if there's nothing else from me, anyone else got anything they want to add before we wrap it up?
Nope.
No.
No? Fantastic. That's goodbye from everyone then, I think.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
So cringe. Picking your choice of shows to play takes everything you got. With Amazon Prime, Sky and Netflix, there sure is a lot. Wouldn't you like some tips and hints? Sometimes you wanna know which are the best in shows and games, and the ones that are just lame. You need to hear some real views that are no holds barred, not tame. You just need guys called Chris, Adam and James.